Vicky, do we have a quorum?
We do.
Okay. I guess let's get this party started. Alan Kinlan was supposed to join us via Zoom. Have we heard from him yet?
No?
Nope.
Vicky, you want to call the roll?
Sure. Brett Johnson,
Present.
Raymond Mondragon, Alan Kinland, Gail Tarson. Here. George Jones,
Here.
Joseph Blaschke,
I'm here.
Kevin Cass,
Present.
JD Gutierrez,
Here.
and Matthew Glenn.
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum. Would I'd stand for approval of the minutes from the September meeting?
Did you get the one amendment that was emailed regarding attendance from last month, including Mr.?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, I move that we approve those.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Minutes have been approved. Discussion and action to use LEDA funds for the TIP strategies to conduct an economic development opportunity study for the city of Clovis. Mr. Howald?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Y'all have heard me speak of the economic comprehensive development strategy that we've been working over the last several meetings. The RFP committee has met several times and are actually making a recommendation to move forward with TIP strategies on this particular project. They were the top scorer out of the firms that were presented to us and scored. And the committee decided not to go through the interview process because they felt that this one particular proposal was more outstanding than the rest of them. As part of this project, the fees for this are $150,000 as well, plus tax, so that's about $12,000. And then there's $5,000 in expenses, including travel and lodges. So the total fee for this particular project would be just a little over $167,000 that we're asking for that to come out of our LEDA funding. We do have on the call with us today Mr. Tom Steller. He is with the founder and CEO of TIP, and just thought that we would have him kind of introduce himself, tell the group a little bit about his company, and so that we can kind of start familiarizing ourselves, because they're going to be an intimate part of how we develop our economic development strategy moving forward. So with that, Tom, I'll turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself.
All right, thank you guys. First, I would like to do a sound check, make sure you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir.
All right. I do have a quick slide deck. I'm happy to just talk about it or use the slide deck, whatever your preference is.
Yeah, and you should be able to share your screen. So, yeah, please proceed.
All right, guys, are you still with me? Can you see this okay?
Yes, coming through good. Thank you.
All right. Well, great. Thank you very much. We're excited that we scored well enough to be in first place here. So, but I appreciate the opportunity to get to meet you guys or have you meet us. That way, if you've got any questions, you can ask them now. Our firm is based in Austin, Texas, but as you guys know, there's quite a bit of remote work that's going on right now. So in the last year and a half, I have hired employees that I have yet to meet over in other cities. So crazy world that we're working in. But we're based in Austin. I am the founder of the firm. We started in Austin in 1995. Sorry, I'm not sure if that feedback was coming from me or somewhere else. But so our firm, TIP Strategies, TIP stands for Theory and Practice. We're all practitioners, have been in the shoes of those that are in the communities that we work in. We do strategic planning. Our core business is economic development strategy. That's what we do, but we also do a lot of workforce and talent related work, and then we've helped establish economic development organizations. There are 4 principals in the firm. As mentioned, I'm the actual founder of the firm, and you guys for this project will be stuck with me. And I'm very excited to work with you guys. So we have a team of about 20 individuals, including our partners that have experience leading economic development, strategic planning projects in Texas, Southwest, and across the country. We've worked in most states across the country. I think I've yet to work in Utah. It's about the only state we haven't worked in. Just to give you a flavor of the kinds of projects that we're working on right now, working in Fort Collins, Colorado. We just finished a project that was made up of all of the economic development districts for the state of Idaho and doing their recovery and resiliency planning. We're working in Illinois, and I have several projects in Texas right now working for the city of Arlington and the city of Fort Worth. As well as we were recently hired under an Economic Development Administration grant to help out a statewide supply chain analysis for the state of Texas to look at where there are specific opportunities for the state. A couple of projects that I will call out that just demonstrate some of our experience up in the Panhandle and kind of closer to your neck of the woods. They're across the border in Clovis. We've done a lot of work for Midland and Odessa. I'm currently doing a visioning project for Odessa, Texas. I've just completed a big survey for them, a community survey. We've done a lot of work for our friends in Lubbock. I've worked in Seminole, Pampa. I added a couple here that included military installations. That's kind of a specialty of ours, is doing economic development strategy in communities that have installations. Done a lot of work for Abilene. We did some work in East Kern County, and for those of you who know Edwards Air Force Base and the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, the community surrounded there. But we've worked in multiple across the country. I threw in Killeen and Clarksville because of the Army installations there. Our approach to successful economic development depends a lot on your ability to attract and retain and develop the talent required to support that, and making sure that you're positioned for attracting the companies that are most innovative to your region, and creating a quality of place that will attract the talent and keep that talent in your community. So you heard this language throughout the project. Our approach, we pay a lot of attention to what you guys tell us. I reviewed some of the videos this morning from Canon. I know they do I don't know if it's every other month. And so I listened to one of the videos this morning and several others, and lots of interesting things going on in the region, but I didn't realize the significance of Canon, just in terms of employment as an outsider, having driven through Clovis and knowing that it's there. So that was great for me to hear. We also, rely on data, but data's a little bit of a challenge right now. It's a moving target. With the current pandemic and being able to get good data, but I think we have the best that's out there. And then we bring our experience of having worked in communities across the country. You asked for a lot, but everything that you asked for is what we do. And this is just straight out of your RFP. I will point out that in item 1, kind of doing an assessment, and then the third bullet underneath that, assessing whether the current and future needs of the economy can be met by the workforce. I'll tell you right now, that is the #1 issue across the country in every place that we're working. So everything that we can do to help you guys be more competitive there will give you an advantage. But I'm not going to go through all this. This is just repeating back what you guys said, or what you asked for. We organized it in a 3-phase process where we really get to understand the community. We'll work with you and the leadership to identify the best opportunities. And then a big part of our focus is, laying out a game plan that you guys can operate from. That's the most valuable part of what we do. That's what we're known for, is not just producing a report for you, but actually putting something together that you can use to support the community. So we anticipate starting in November, but we have some flexibility there in case this needs to start in December or January, depending on what your schedules look like. But typically a 5 to 6 month process. So that's all I've got, guys. If you've got any questions, I am open to them.
And Mr. Chairman, one thing that I would point out that you saw probably on that last slide there is developing an implementation strategy as well as the matrix, so that we can have some accountability within what what we're trying to accomplish. And so we use obviously the CIDC to assist us in that process. We don't score every or we don't land every proposal that we put into the various companies, but this will give us those metrics and those targets that we're trying to accomplish to keep sustaining and trying to maintain in a healthy economy here in the city of Clovis. So that is part of their scope of work that they'll be doing for us. And so we're excited to get this project kicked off. We think that, as you mentioned, Cannon Air Force Base, and as we all know, the abilities that we have out there, as well as the technology that we have available to us through Plateau, and taking advantage of those and trying to work those into our economic development strategy. And he also mentioned talent and working with CCC and Dr. Nwankwo and trying to develop that talent and maintain that talent here locally. So it's a project that we're excited about. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
But anyway, I just want to, first of all, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, and Mr. Howalt, Mayor Morris, I wanted to thank the committee. I probably missed that this morning, but I wanted to thank the RFP committee. Dr. Wonko was on that committee as well. The chairman was on that committee as well, and several other folks. But what was I was impressed about the TIP strategies, really, because they really bring the cutting edge as they said in their proposal, the cutting edge of economic development. I mean, 25 years experience in that. The other thing, and I don't know, sir, on the screen, if you know John Osborne, Lubbock Economic Development Alliance. I work with Mr. Osborne. He's chairman of the Ports to Plains, and we're working with him on the interstate designation in northeast New Mexico right now. And so the other thing that I appreciated is the analytical experience of your staff. Because a lot of it, of course, is data, research, numbers game that we all play with, and hopefully to try to help our community advance as the things that are happening now with what the mayor is doing and the city with the LEDA program. But I'm excited. I'm excited to meet some of your staff. Hopefully I'll be able to talk with some of them. We appreciate the fact that you have very good, solid, experienced facilitators. I went through your RFP like 3 times, and then in the group really studied it and worked hard on it. So we're looking forward to your work with the city of Clovis. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Yeah, we're anxious to see what you got, Tom, and see how this turns out. It's a challenge in this desert to drive a lot of economic development here, and we welcome the outside information, and hopefully we can get some good things going for us.
Well, we're very excited and appreciate the opportunity. And what I do know is that you guys have some very solid assets in the community with the data pipeline and access to the talent that surrounds Cannon. And we're excited.
Good.
One other thing I wanted to ask, Tom, I've noticed in your RFP, you worked with the Borderplex issues there in Las Cruces and El Paso. Did you work with Jerry Pacheco?
We primarily worked on the workforce side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can talk to my partner, Tracy McDaniel. She recently worked with the Borderplex on their, a marketing strategy for them. And I'll ask her if she worked with Julie.
Yeah, I was just curious. I saw that on your,
Yeah,
thank you.
we were primarily working with the Workforce Board and the university on several different sector strategies for workforce.
You are aware of what's happening with the workforce boards in New Mexico, correct? They're trying to get rid of the 7 and create only 2?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There's a lot of discussion going on that. There's been open forums and public meetings and taking public input on that issue right now.
Gotcha. I've worked in states where they have a statewide workforce board and
Yeah.
other states that have, or more like Texas and New Mexico, that have divided the state up into different sections. So I look forward to seeing how that plays out.
Thank you.
Hey, if that's all the questions for Tom, we appreciate you making an appearance this morning and look forward to future working together.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're down to for the good of the order. Does anybody have anything?
Do we need to
I would
vote on
love
that?
a motion in a second on the last item.
No, I guess we
I have a
should do
motion
that.
that we use the LEADA funds to fund this strategies.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you.
If I may, I missed the cost of the,
167.
okay, thank you.
150 for work, 5,000 for incidental, and the remaining, I don't know where it was, but.
Taxes.
12,000 in tax.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, State Annex.
And I apologize, I didn't know if I was supposed to leave or not. I'm happy to jump off if you guys need to take care of business. I realize when I got off, when I was supposed to go or not.
That'd be fine if that's what you like to do. We're done with you.
Okay, well, that's what I needed to hear.
All right.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, for the good of the order.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I just want to thank the mayor and the city managers for this vision. I don't know where it originated from, but it's an essential thing for this community. Still being the relative newcomer, going on my second year, we need to know what strategies we can implement to move this community forward in terms of economic development. And I don't know where this idea come from, but I thought it's an excellent idea. With this study, we'll have a blueprint. We'll have strategies. And then we can start to pick it up one by one. And particularly with the workforce development and Clovis Community College, that's in our bailiwick. That's what we want to do. And I'm excited about this. I don't know whose idea it was, but I think it's an excellent idea. And I'm looking forward to seeing what tips can generate for us. I read the proposal. I was enamored with it. And I'm glad to see we move forward. And thank you, Mr. Chairman Committee, for endorsing it and approving the funding. And now I think it's going to go before the City Commission for final approval. But I'm excited. The next 2, 3, 4 years in this community is going to be something. We lay a foundation that will take us into the next 25 years or so. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to thank Brian Jones for keeping us straight. We appreciate you and keeping us going in this process. Originally, we had some members that could not make the meeting, and then he took the steps to make sure that you guys were on there. And also, Mr. Chairman, wanted to share with you, I just had a last week a New Mexico idea As you know, I'm state president of the New Mexico Industrial Developers Executive Association, finishing in my 2-year term at the end of December of this year. And on the board agenda, I did include an item there that I thought was important to Clovis, New Mexico, and our region and the state. The board of directors voted unanimously. We had an award called the Economic Developer of the Year Award. The name is now officially the Chase Gentry Economic Developer of the Year Award. The board named that award after Chase, after his many years in economic development, after many years serving on our board, after many years serving on the New Mexico Partnership Board, and after many years serving and advising legislators on legislative matters. And so I'm looking forward at the end of the year when we have our closing annual meeting and banquet that hopefully Nancy and Ernie Koss will be there present to present that award to the next award winner in our state. It'll be presented to an economic developer somewhere in New Mexico. So we're starting that process. One other thing I wanted to mention is Sunday I leave to Santa Fe. I'll be there through Thursday. We are conducting and we're in partnerships with a new course called the New Mexico Legislative's Basic Economic Development Course. We wanted to bring in legislators so they can learn a little bit, see what's going on in economic development world in New Mexico and in parts of the city. The LEDA issue that I will bring up, what our mayor has been pushing, Senate Bill 49, we're going to thank our legislators for that. So we hope to graduate those legislators Thursday evening with a certificate and thank them for their work in the legislature. And we plan we have a reception scheduled at the Rotunda there in Santa Fe with our legislators on that event. And then we have a second reception scheduled with staff, chief of staffs, and other, and the Speaker of the House and the floor leader as well. So they've been invited. We hope they'll be able to attend and learn a lot more about economic development in our state and the importance of incentives in our state. Just wanted to share that with you.
Okay. It's a hard competition competing with Texas for all of the economic development that
Yes.
they own. Well, that's a nice way to memorialize Chase Gentry. I appreciate them doing that. He's terribly missed. Any other comments for the good of the order? Mayor, would you like to, you probably hadn't had a chance to talk about Senate Bill 47 much, but in case you wanted to.
Review committee for their work, and I know a couple of you were on that, or maybe more than a couple. This was the first I had seen of that, and appropriately so. I wasn't involved in the RFP review, and I can see why that proposal stood out. That's a very impressive plan that TIP brings forward, and so I'm very excited about that. I think that this is extremely important as we move forward to have a shared vision, arrived at after assessing, what are the assets that we offer industry and what are those economic base employers that we can go courting and hopefully successfully bring many of them here. And I think that is just huge. So thank you for your support on that, and happy to see that moving on to the commission in the very near future. And while that is important, there is also, as you referenced in inviting me up here, there is the important but also very urgent matter of the November 2nd election, and of course the question on that ballot out to the voters, and that being, can we add to the economic development toolbox retail development? So please be aware that early voting is underway both at the clerk's office, county clerk's office, and the mall. And of course, the election is on November 2nd. This is a great opportunity for the voters in Clovis to make a big change with economic development, one that's going to affect our local economy and our future and be an important building block in that plan that we're going to have 6 months from now. So thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for all that you do in service to the city on this board, and thank you for your time. Any questions for me? Everybody's heard enough from me, Chairman, lately. Thank you.
Okay. So if that's all we've got, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Cousin Ernie.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee and Mayor, I would just like to say to you that I'm excited as well about the new RFP that just was approved. And so we've been part of the process. I know Chase has been part of it as well in the past. And so it's actually perfect timing for us as a community. So hopefully we can get the new economic development director hired in a timely manner, and will be perfect timing to just get on board with all the shared partners relating to economic development. And so just real quickly, I'd like to inform you that the CIDC board, specifically the executive committee, has been very busy supporting myself and our staff as it relates to any prospects that we have. And actually, we've had a couple of new prospects asking for information relating to renewable energy, and actually a couple of retail people too have called. And so we're working those prospects. I know that different members of CIDC have definitely stepped up and helped with the process as well. And luckily, we're already involved before in all of the meetings and stuff with specific prospects. And so in addition to working prospects, we're really making major progress as it relates to our Clovis remote program. And so we had a very successful job fair last week, and I think right now, I think we have 6 local people that were hired with T-Tech, and that's after they've been trained to do, the mock interviews, the resumes, and all of the different things that they do. So in advance of hiring an economic development director, we have hired one person on staff for CIDC to be here locally to help us really with that program. It's been a huge response, and so we can't keep up with all the applicants for the program, so we had to hire Misha Evans, the military spouse that is now working for CIDC. So she's carrying that ball, and then as you all know, we have been busy with continuing to work the branding, Clovis branding project after several years, and so appreciate the city's partnership on that. And I just want you to know that I'm excited about this. I'm sorry I was late. I was at home Ron was just about to serve me breakfast, and the computer's on, and the meeting shows up on Facebook, and I go, oh my God, I gotta go. So I missed the presentation, but I know it'll be on Facebook. I can go back to it. But I am really excited about it, and I know that the CIDC board will be too.
So which 6 employees have been hired? Is that what you?
6 employees from the Clovis remote program has been hired specifically with T-Tech, which is the company I told you about last meeting. And so different kind of positions, customer service, IT. To be honest, I don't know all the specifics of all 6 jobs. There's about 4 people pending. They have second interviews or things like that. And so I'm excited about that program. And then we have 2 or 3 other companies like T-Tech that are interested in working with us. And so we were able to make a presentation. Last week we had the Economic Development and Policy Committee, interim committee of the state legislature. Senator Woods sits on that committee, and so we had a lot of time to beat our drum for Clovis that morning. And so Mayor and I and David Robinson and several of us were able to talk about economic development as it relates to our community. So I briefed on the Clovis remote program in detail, and now everyone's calling and wants to know how to do it. And I don't, and the chairman of the committee is asking us to support their community as it relates to Clovis Remote. And so the big advantage we have, of course, is Plateau and the gigabit. And so that's what we have that most communities are working towards. And so, anyway, it's been really good.
Yeah, that's great news. That's, 6 jobs in a community of our size is something. I mean, that does move the needle.
Yeah, so we're also going to be able to do some of our trainings for Clovis Remote at the Firehouse Workspace, and so partner with our local business there as well.
All right.
Any other questions for me? I apologize for being late, Mr. Chairman.
No problem. Thank you, Ernie. Okay, now I'll stand for an adjournment. Oh, you got Matthew.
Along those same lines of economic development, like everyone to know that this coming Saturday, they're having the Young Entrepreneurs Fair on Main Street. So they've got about 30 to 40 kids signed up to, they're going to be in the parking lot across from the courthouse, and they're going to be selling gourmet marshmallows and dog treats and woodworking and bows. And so these are all kids that are producing something, providing something. They're getting out there and being entrepreneurs, which is what I think we're all trying to get to, for future entrepreneurs. Yep. So it's pretty much all day Saturday. I don't have the details. It's on the Main Street Board is running that one, so Lisa Spears could probably tell you the times. I'll be out there. I got volunteered to work. So, yeah, get out there on Saturday and support the local kids and what they're doing for our community as well.
Good. Any other comments, questions? Mr. Jones?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor, stand up.